Hey, what's up everybody? It's Christian here with Reaper Disc, and today we're going to be looking at the Kastaplast Jarn. The Järn is a very overstable approach disc, coming in with flight numbers of 4.5303. And if it were up to me, I would probably tweak a couple of those. This thing is very overstable. Rim feel, it does have a moderate depth, with a pretty comfortable feel in the hand and an extremely flat top. This thing comes out of the hand very, very clean, comfortable both forehand and backhand. That extremely flat top and moderate depth makes for really nice forehand releases, and this thing fits really well into that forehand approach disc category that other discs like the Harp and the Zone have dominated for decades. This disc works that angle extremely well and fits the bill for that, if those discs aren't quite your thing, maybe try giving the Järn a shot. This thing is amazing at what it does, is very overstable, and works extremely well for forehands. Well, enough of talking about it, let's actually see how this thing flies. So when I threw it on a hyzer release, this thing did exactly that. It just hyzered. It's very, very overstable. As you can see here, even when thrown on a hyzer, it wanted to hyzer more. This thing was near vertical whenever it got back down to the ground, and I had to give this thing actually a really good bit of height just to get it to fly more than a handful of feet. Otherwise, this thing just wanted to get to the ground faster than you could even believe. When thrown flat, this thing didn't stay flat for very long. It very quickly started getting back over to that hyzer angle, and the more it got over onto that angle, the faster it tried to get back down to the ground, moving left while fading really, really hard. When thrown anhyzer, this thing I swear, it laughed at me. It immediately got back out of it. I don't think it held an anhyzer angle for more than 15 feet. It immediately got back over to flat, panned right back over into hyzer, and just faded. That was it. This thing did not want to hold any turnover angle whatsoever, and honestly just astounded me just how overstable it really was. Now, even when throwing this thing full power, and I like to think that I throw pretty hard, this had zero chance or thought of flipping up even a degree or two. This thing fought incredibly hard just to get back down to the ground, and I felt like I struggled to get the 260 feet that I did here. All in all, the Järn is, well, it's overstable. It's, a good 4-speed disc, but it's good at that. That isn't necessarily a bad thing. This thing is ultra consistent and reliable, and you know exactly what it's going to do every time you throw it, no matter how you throw it. You know exactly what the Järn's going to do, and because of that, this is something that you can lean on hard whenever you need to take thought and everything else out of the equation and just throw something that you know is going to do the exact same thing over and over and over again. The Järn has really low glide, making for, a really controllable disc that you can get good distance control straight out of the box brand new. It's extremely overstable, and it's going to fight the wind and anhyzer angles like it got caught up in a back alley knife fight. This thing is aggressive to say the least, and all in all, truly lives up to its name as iron. Do I suggest picking up a Järn for yourself? Well, that depends. If you want a disc that, you're going to throw no matter how you throw it and it's just going to fade, yeah, pick up a Järn. It's really, really good for that and ultra reliable. Like I said, it's not necessarily a bad thing being that overstable. This thing is extremely consistent. If you take a look at all the distances for the test throws here, no matter how I threw it, it stayed between, the 244 feet and 263 feet. So no matter what angle I threw it on, whether it was a control shot or a full power shot, this thing had a window of less than 20 feet that it was landing in. That's really consistent. And, no matter how I throw that, distance wise, it's not going to surpass the distance from the basket to the edge of the circle, much less from one side of the circle to the other. This thing, if you get it dialed onto a basket, isn't going to be much further than 10, 15 feet away in any given direction. And that sounds like a pretty good thing to me, being able to almost guarantee that I can be 15 foot away from the basket every time I throw an approach shot. Now, a lot more goes into that, but you know what I mean. If you want to pick up a yarn for yourself, or if you want to check out any other overstable approach disc, click the link in this video to head over to reaperdisc.com. That way you can shop your little heart out. If you want, you can also pick up some awesome merch like this really cool t-shirt I'm wearing right now over at the same place. Follow us on social media at ReaperDisc. That way you can keep up to date with all of our restocks, new releases, and exclusive drops. Subscribe to the channel, and if you want to keep up to date with every time we post something, go ahead and ring that notification bell. It doesn't cost you anything, and you're the first to know anytime we drop new content. Again, I'm Christian with Reaper Discs, and I'll see you guys in the next video.